You are my Eeyore, and I've got 100 Acre Wood for you.
For his tail.
Yeah. We'll contrive a sexual metaphor out of this by hook or by crook.
Oh, good. So we can just do it.
You have no idea how I've longed to hear you say those words, Jonathan.
That's not true. You don't want to have sex with me. I can tell.
Really. I don't really want to have sex with anyone.
That's how I am.
It's sticky and time-consuming, and...
It's a waste of time.
It really is.
To be honest, it's a waste of time.
You know, it's great, though, because, now that I'm married, I don't use condoms, because they stick to my hand, and I hate that.
Condoms stick your hand?
Sorry.
Like Velcro? Wait, I don't... How did it...
I've never, a lot of men argue against using condoms, and for many selfish reasons. It sticks to my hand and I don't like it is probably the best one I've ever heard.
How much of your hand is involved with where the condom is when you're having sex?
You see, the joke's not funny if I have to explain it, Holmes.
Is it for masturbating with condoms?
There you go. You see, that's the point. I'm married now. I'm not having sex with anyone anymore because I'm married. Therefore, yeah.
You don't need to wear condoms anymore.
I somehow got that wrong as well. I thought you just did taking it off after. You see, we've both fucked up here. Conrad had a perfectly good, reasonable joke, and we've both conspired like Guy Fawkes to ruin it. Are you Guy Fawkes, Jonathan? I've often wondered this.
Is that the guy from V for Vendetta? Is that right?
You seem to know a lot about him.
Nah, I can't remember.
You seem to know a suspicious amount of Guy Fawkes' history. You can say, of course, Guy Fawkes famously played Hugo Weaving in the film V for Vendetta.
Okay, I thought it was the other... Hugo Weaving's the actor, right? Hugo Weaving?
You're not firing on all cylinders this afternoon, are you?
I'm okay.
You seem a bit...
I feel good.
You seem a bit spaced, a bit tired. I'm a bit tired myself. It's been late nights this week.
Has it? What have you been doing?
Guild Wars hasn't been helping.
You're reviewing it or just loving it?
Just loving it.
It is really good.
It's quite fine.
I have managed to resist investing my entire life into it yet because I just had priority work stuff that I can't take time out. But last night it was just sitting there calling to me, and I gotta play more.
It's funny. I found it very
what kind of stuff happens
to stop playing. I find it very easy to stop playing. While I play it, I love it, but there's something about it where it's I can just say, right, I've had enough. Off I go.
It does get a little exhausting after a point, I've found, just, because I'm doing a bunch of crafting stuff and inventory maintenance, and it's not that it's tedious or anything, it's just, it takes some thinking and time and energy, and I
feel I feel like every session is ending when I feel I've had my fill, and then I need just a little lax off it, and then I can come back all eager and happy to do it again. It's very... Because normally you get into this point with MMOs where it's either you're just bored or you're totally addicted. And this seems to be, at least for the moment, I'm finding a nice middle ground where it's I'm happy to play it, really excited, actually. It's been a while since I've been excited about building a character in an RPG. I'm excited to play this, but it gets to a point where I'm happy, that's enough, I'll go off, do something else. And I'll come back later. I find it very easy to just bite into it and then leave it. Fucking good game. It's definitely... I've been complaining a lot about MMOs lately, ever since I saw the Elder Scrolls Online and saw that they were just feeding us a pack of horse shit about it being just like the Elder Scrolls, but with people online, when it was... No, it's just like the World of Warcraft, but you say the word Tamriel every now and then. because people are treating MMOs like they're some sort of genre rather than a delivery method. Whereas Guild Wars, I mean, it's still got some modern MMO traits, a few things holding it back, but it is very much like they said, everyone's doing the same thing with MMOs or MMORPGs. Let's do what we can to distance ourselves and be different, and it feels more rewarding. It respects my damn time. Everything you do, whether you're making a shirt or climbing up a hill, you're getting experience. You feel like you're progressing, which is rare. MMOs just seem to go out of their way to waste your time these days.
And the group
So it's
dynamics
not a
are
waste of-
fantastic.
So it's not
Like-
a waste of time if everything does something good? And what do you mean by group dynamics?
Well, the way the quests, like, there aren't quests per se. You have like a personal quest line that your character goes on, and those are all sort of instance encounters. But all of the other encounter combat things, that relate to setting materials and, like these two villages are at war, all of that stuff is open entry. Anyone can wander into it and participate and earn credit for doing it. And so there's a sort of ad hoc sense of partying. You don't have to build up a party and balance it out where everyone's got their roles and so forth. You just go show up at this thing that's happening and participate in it. And I think that's really appealing.
Yeah, it lends I hesitate to use the word casual, but I don't mean it in the game-centric term, but there is a casual, just sort of, oh, hey, there's some guys over there kicking the shit out of a centaur. I'll do that. I'll go over there and do it, and then you're just there. Then you're in the game. You're in these people's fight, and you don't have to be invited. You don't have to wait around looking for a group. You just roll up there, and then you're in it. It was evidenced when I was over at some undead swamp place in the starting area, and then a world event cropped up. This giant fucking portal spewing black smoky skeletal demon thing emerged out of the swamp. There were at least 30 players there, just shelling the shit out of it, and I ran over and just joined in the scrum, and then there was this massive war. It was vomiting portals, and other demons were coming out of it, so you kept having to stop and fight the little guys while the big guy was up there roaring and doing shit. And it was just amazing, and it was just, I didn't expect it. I was just rolling in the area, and suddenly shit was going down. Eventually, it took a long time. Eventually, we killed it. And people were reviving each other, healing each other, just doing what they can for everyone to just keep the assault going on this guy. And then eventually it stopped, and all the players kind of just stood there for a while, with speech bubbles from people in the chat room sort of appearing above characters' heads, just wow. And that was awesome, and, just all celebrating in the victory, and then everyone went their separate ways, and that was that. And shit like that's happening everywhere all the time. It's great.
Yeah, it's not a game that you can, like a lot of MMOs, you can spend a lot of solitary time and, just sort of do stuff up to a point. Eventually you're going to have to party up and accomplish goals. But in this, if you're wandering around, and like the group disappears and you're just on your own, you could be sitting there and 6-7 enemies will just spawn in and decimate you. And anybody could revive you, but everybody's gone. And they'd have to get to you first. So there's a couple of times where the gaminess of it, the mechanics are very apparent and cause some frustration. But it's not that frustrating because there's very little penalty for death. You just warp back, it costs you a little bit of money, and you have some negative buffs on you for a short period.
Yeah, it's annoying, but it's not, I've lost something vital. But you can use that tactic as well. Like, I was in an area, I wandered. It's very easy to just wander into dangerous territory without knowing it, because it encourages exploration. I wandered into a territory, the guys were like 5 levels above me, all the enemies. But because of the way the system works, all I had to do was wait for some other guys to roll up, and then I'd play support rather than going in and doing all the killing. You know, I'd stay on the sidelines. My character's kind of ranged, so I could just like harry them from the sides while guys with swords did all the hard work. And they got their experience and loot for it. I get my experience and loot for it. It's a very symbiotic, very you know, you're not exactly leeching off one guy. You're all working together, whether you know it or not, and it works fantastically.
Sounds like they trimmed the fat.
Pretty much, it feels alive.
Yeah.
If I'm playing an MMO, like I want to feel like it's a living world. That's supposed to be the point of it. That's supposed to be why other players are there, surely, is that it feels alive and like shit's happening and it's more exciting than your average single-player game. But most of them haven't been that. Star Wars The Old Republic, like, I enjoyed it, but it was a lonely game. I was playing it. There were people around, but it's almost like you're in one of those plastic bubbles that they put sick kids in. You can see everyone, you can see the world, but you're not really interacting with anyone. Everyone's playing a single-player game near each other, as evidenced by quest givers that are just stood there, and there's like 10 dozen guys stood round it, all watching the same cutscene on their own time. It feels very artificial and fake, and runs counter to the point of an MMO, because it feels more fake and static than a single-player game. Far less atmosphere, whereas this, with everything happening so dynamically, and just these quests where it's like there's a guy stood by a farm and it's like, come help the guy out at the farm. You can kill worms in the fields, or you can water crops if you want. Do it, idiot. And then you just do it, and there's all a bunch of other guys running around doing it, and then it's like, oh shit, hit the trees with a stick and pick up all the apples and give them to a guy. Get apples.
Sounds good.
That's the
Sounds
message
like they,
of the day.
Cut out the boring parts.
That's the message of this podcast as
cut
well.
The apples.
It's all apples this episode. Jonathan, what's your favourite apple?
Green. No, red.
What? That's green and red?
No, not green.
I love that.
At first,
out of these options, the way you chose to answer the question, you left yourself two options. You had a 50-50 chance of getting your own opinion right, and you still got it wrong the first time.
Yeah, I didn't luck out. No. Came out tails. But the second time, I got it right.
You got it right the second time. You hit it on the nose the second time.
And there's orange, too. There's orange.
No, they're oranges.
Yeah, and there's much more specific, like Granny Smith, Macintosh apples.
That's what I was... I was talking about the species of apple.
I thought that was just slang.
No, because you can have Granny Smith, you can have those rose ones, cooking apples.
Cook it?
Cooking apples, English apples.
I'll cook it.
Buffalo stance apples.
That's like...
You can have soft cell apples. Flat apples. I'm just doing 80s fans and saying the word apples after them.
Why not? Makes as much sense as Granny Smith. What does that mean? Forget it.
It was discovered by Granny Smith.
Cox's Orange Pippin. We've got the Calville Blanc de Verre. Golden Delicious. That's a great apple. Suntan.
That's the orange one.
Court Pendugris. The Gravenstein apple. Yeah.
A round of applause
I really love
for the apples of the world. That's some great apples. It's a tribute to the apples, please.
Granny Smith, that's really a baking apple. That's something you make a good pie out of.
No, there are actual... Granny Smith is a good eating apple. Nerds.
Oh, I find them a little too tart for just straight up eating.
They're tart, but there are actual apples. There are apples tarter than the Granny Smith, and then at least in England they're literally called cooking apples. That's what we call them. They're bigger and they're tarter than the Granny Smith, and you put them in your pies and your crumbles.
No more talk about apples.
Why are you trying to stop?
Okay, hey, wait a minute. How is this worse than all the conversations we have about putting things in your ass?
Yeah, we haven't even got
Because
to when we talk about putting an apple in your ass. That's coming later.
it's just green and red, guys. All this, just sounds a little pretentious. This like talking kind of apples, like hipster.
That's
No,
not.
I eat green.
Tell that to the people
Come
who
on.
are currently working on hybridizing new strains of apples to enter into the marketplace. This is huge business, man, and I think that you're just downplaying it.
My mouth is literally open at you calling the naming of literally different genus of plant life.
Semantics, come on.
Semantics and
Semantics.
pretentious. No, they're
Yes,
that's
Granny Smith.
what you
was
said.
Very pretentious.
Yeah, what you just said was
Green and red. That's all you need to know.
what you just said is basically there's two types of animals, cats and dogs.
One could say that.
No,
I wouldn't.
I'm good, but they'd be like a maniac. They're a different.
No, not a maniac. They're keeping it real.
I mean, do you
They're just
see
keeping
the
it real.
differences- Do you see the differences in dogs, or are they all just dog to you?
I don't eat dogs.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
If I did, I'd probably think they're all just dog meat.
Hey,
I'd
John,
be like, give me that dog meat, girl.
would you eat a
I
dog?
wouldn't care about what.
Would you eat a dog?
No, not.
What?
Not on purpose.
What if it was full of Cox's Pippin apples?
No, you see, it's racist. It's just racist. There are 7,500 different cultivars of apple, according to Wikipedia.
You're kidding.
No.
That's so many different kinds. Green
Yes.
and red. You know about grapples?
Just skate over the facts.
They're all art games.
Yeah, they're all out games to him. With his
Yeah,
apple
it's-
racism. You're an apple racist. What's it like being an apple racist? Telling the Golden Deliciouses to go back to Golden Delicious land where they came from. Coming into this country, mating with our grapes.
That's what grapples are. They have apples that taste like grapes. They're called grapples. Those are good. They're red too. That's how you know they're good. Good apple, man. You should eat it. Eat it off the internet. Order it. Order a dozen.
You don't get blue bananas.
Whoa, seriously?
Mm.
You know about toigers? They're making new cats that are little tigers called toigers. They're making them in the lab. They look great.
I'll have
Check
15
it out.
of them.
Science. See, people think that steroids are bad. Did you know that? People are talking to me about this on the internet a lot, actually. I said a few offhand comments thinking no one's going to care. On
Steroids
Twitter,
are
well, I've
common.
got, yeah, they're fine, They're just like doing push-ups in a can. People don't say don't do push-ups, but they say don't do steroids. It's like, come on. Same difference.
What
You
about
can
the
grow a
bit where
chicken.
what about the bit where they make your little willy poo fall off, and then you have got a lady in it?
I thought you were a decent human being, Holmes, and we're saying that not all steroids are bad, and they're used for all sorts of purposes, like allergy medication and so forth. No, you are actively encouraging people to use steroids to build muscle growth.
The
At the
anabolic
cost of their
steroid.
testicular fortitude.
That's their call, man. If you want to do that, you do it.
Yeah, but you're
think
saying it's
people
not
should be
bad.
so
I mean, it's.
No, you're saying it's not bad. That's
I didn't
the
say
problem.
it.
It's not.
I never said that.
I'm
I
all
said it's
against-
just like doing too many push-ups.
I'm all for people putting whatever they want in their mouths and up their bums, as you will find out, Jonathan Holmes, soon enough. But I wouldn't tell someone, anabolic steroids, it's just push-ups in a can.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It is.
doing push-ups will not make your testicles shrink.
It might. Depends on what you do.
I'm pretty sure we've determined that this will not happen. Science has
Hey, speak for
weighed in on
yourself,
the
sir.
issue by now. Steroids will make your balls shrink. Push-ups will just make your pecs grow.
Jonathan,
Oh, and
it's
you can pull a
amazing.
shoulder muscle too. You might just pull a muscle doing. You won't pull any muscles doing steroids.
No,
my
you
friend.
won't. You won't pull your penis either because you won't have one.
Hey, that's your move. If that's the move you want to take, read the warning label. You can go out and buy your brewskis. You can buy a pack of smokes.
the anabolic
Hey, do those
steroids.
steroids.
the anabolic steroids that you pick up from the sleazy guy in the gym locker room with its label written on the side.
He wrote a little label.
I would love that. I think
Jerry.
that would be my thing as a coke dealer. I'd have...
safety warning labels on all your
you gotta follow the directions for use, mate. If you don't follow the directions, I can't help you. Push-ups in a can.
That's what they should call them.
Yeah.
You guys know I'm joking, right? I know steroids are bad for you.
Fun juice as well.
Yeah, they would. I do think it's a little weird how we...
That's how you market it to kids, the fun juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work. I do think it's weird, though, that we say some drugs are okay and other ones are not, and how we judge athletes who, divorce their wives and maybe even rape people, not so harshly, but oh my god, he did the juice, he cheated, he sucks now. It's like, steroids, not great, sure, but the hatred for people who do steroids is really... Well, it all comes from this idea sports people have that you're actually important if you're good at a sport, which you're not.
Well, but
it doesn't matter at all.
To the people who watch sports, and there are many, I don't know that anyone here in this conversation or even listening are those people, but for those people, the people who perform well at that are important. It's important to them, and they comprise a very large audience, and so by virtue of democracy, they are important in our culture. Sad and unfortunate as it may be that people are lauded for being very, very good at a very specific type of activity, but we get all excited about Gabe Newell being really, really good at running Valve. And he's a celebrity, but all he's doing is running his company. So let's not get, oh god, sports people aren't important. Sports people are just as important as everyone else. Now the steroids thing,
no one's actually important.
No, nobody's important.
Kind of.
The dosing thing and all of that. Now they're acting in violation of the sport. There are certain rules. Laws are a basis for trust in society. And when someone breaks that trust, it's understandable, especially when it's something that you feel like everybody's in agreement that we're all going to play by the same rules. Someone plays outside of those rules, that pisses you off. So, I get the justification.
Yeah,
so is that it's rule?
Unless they're raping women or making dogs fight each other, those rules are fine because that's not football.
Right.
But don't fuck with the football rules. They're better than real rules.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's all arbitrary and ridiculous. Especially with football, I found whether we're talking about soccer in Britain or football in America, the allowance that people are given when it comes to certain terrible activities is amazing. This is not new information. I think most people would agree that it's ridiculous, and especially when they do then get very harshly criticised for something that is nowhere near as bad. But there you go, Jonathan.
Well, we in society make exceptions for those we deem exceptional.
Wow, did you just make that up?
Yes.
That should be on a t-shirt. I love what you said. That was great. It rhymed a little, kind of, or alliteration or something, and it was totally true.
I would also
we make exceptions for Paris Hilton. What's that?
I would also like to add a philosophical statement.
Oh, God.
Yes, do.
We make erections for people who are Jonathan Holmes.
It's so true. That's just universal.
I am not exceptional or erection inspiring.
You get
most.
the people rock hard, Jonathan.
I don't think so, man.
You get solid as a fucking
really
rock.
I don't think it's true. There's one Australian guy who did want to have sex with me back before it was a cool thing to say on the internet. Not that it's that cool, but Well, we did do I felt so bad for the Sound Shapes guys. We did a video with the developers of Sound Shapes, and there were just YouTube comments about Kamehameha waves and vomit and erections and stuff. Yeah, it spreads in everything that happens. I wonder what Jonathan Mack and Sony
I'll tell you
thought of
what.
that. Hopefully they like it.
Tell you what I
Yeah.
like about it, Jonathan, is I don't want you to be unsuccessful, right? I love that you're successful,
Oh, cool.
and I like to think
Oh,
that in some small way, I've helped you advance a bit. I'm not saying that as an ego thing.
Absolutely.
It's like I like to help out my friends where I can, and I like to think I've
you
helped
have.
a bit. But the thing is I like the fact that your career is advancing, but in such a way as you still remain in the same place, i.e. mine. I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing you flourish, but in such a way that you're also kind of atrophying at the same time, uh, and, and kind of experiencing an undying death, where you're withering and disappearing in a way
Right.
that ensures you live forever. I think
So I'm
that's
getting bigger and stronger and rotting out from the inside, kind of?
yeah. I think that's kind of my dream for you, Jonathan. Is I want to see you like grow as a person and expand and gain new experiences and just have an amazing life. But I kind of want you to do it as a disintegrated, desiccated husk, and not because I don't like you.
Oh, no. It's not that you want me to
Specific-
feel bad.
Yeah, it's specifically because I do love you, and I'm in love with you, that I want you to feel this way. Kind of like how Joseph Fritzl kept his daughter in a cellar. Um, I like to keep you in a metaphysical basement. Mostly built, like the walls are built of YouTube comments.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
You're getting your wish. It's a thing in my life, and it's got a poetry to it. It's a poetic misery. I'm not a stranger to the fact that it's special.
I
My
want
life.
I want you to evolve and progress and change as a person, but according to my designs.
There's a Pokemon that does that. Ninjask. No, the pre-evolution of Nincada can evolve either into Ninjask, a cool ninja Pokemon, or this other one I'm blanking the name on. That's just an empty shell with a little halo above its head.
That one. That's the
Yeah.
one I want for you. Conrad can be the ninja, whatever. You are the empty shell that I fill with whatever I want. I like that. I like that. I like to think of you as a universe in which I am God.
Well, so far so good.
Yeah, and not for any selfish reason.
Just
I
feel-
don't enjoy being some sort of capricious deity, Jonathan.
Really?
I don't get off on that much.
Really?
Not much, just a bit. It's you that I do this for. Because I feel it's something you need.
Well, it is advancing my career
It is.
into just being thought of as a anus. All the time.
That's what I want for you.
So far so good.
I mean, that's
We want it to just be an anus.
yeah, we're getting what I want, which I think is important.
That's what's really important, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah. But we're also, it's not just about me getting stuff,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving something back.
To who?
Well, this is what we've been talking about the past few weeks. This is it's kind of a running theme for me. I'm very civic minded. I like to think about society, and we've been talking about giving stuff back to the community. You know, we talked about running a live tour for children, the Dragon Ball Z Out of Their Shell tour. What else did we do? We did John Con.
Oh, yep. We did the zoo. We did
zoo.
me selling cigarettes to children.
That was selfish. That was monetizing.
Oh, that's right. That was monetizing.
And I feel bad for that because we became corporate America. We became the Republican platform.
Right, now
We were the 1%.
We were the 1%, but now we are the 99%, Jonathan.
Which is doing what?
Yes.
What are we doing now?
Right. Bear with me.
Sure.
Jonathan, like all people, you're a law-abiding man.
Yeah, I haven't done any crimes.
You're a law-respecting man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some would say you're a man of the law.
Wow. Okay. I wouldn't, but you could.
Baby police. This is the vision I had the other day. Uniformed children under the age of 3 policing the streets of Boston. Jonathan Holmes's baby police.
So we're not policing babies. We have a police force that is employing babies.
Consists primarily of babies. But you and I get to be co-lieutenant.
We're not babies.
Yeah, but we are the co-lieutenants of baby police. Conrad Zimmerman is baby police chief. Chief O'Hara Conrad Zimmerman.
I could see that.
Because he looks like a police chief.
He does.
Yeah,
He's got a cool
that.
facial hair. He's got cool hair.
Pointy hat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, the mustache was inspired by a police drama on television. So there you go.
Oh.
I'm set.
There you go.
It wasn't Batman, was it?
Was it?
Oh no, it was the good guys. It was Colin Hanks and the dude from The West Wing, Bradley Whitford. Oh, it was great. It was really funny and totally doomed to fail.
Yeah, canceled already, right?
Oh, one season. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Oh, interesting. That's a fun fact.
So we got to work on the important things first when you set up a police force. And the important thing is getting Conrad behind a desk with a white shirt with sleeves rolled up, a tie, a badge, a cup of coffee, and he just spends the whole time saying, "Get the criminals."
To babies?
I don't have your badge!
To a baby?
You're a loose cannon, Holmes!
To me, fine, but if you're talking to a toddler,
Get the baby in here.
Yeah, about twice a morning, Conrad will berate each baby. Because that's just how the police force operates. We'll bring the babies in. For about 20 minutes per child, Conrad will berate, criticize, and humiliate the children. Criticizing anything from their dress to their performance to their faces and family.
Thing about it is the babies might be able to take that pretty well.
Well, most of these babies are going to be too young to understand English. Or to be honest, the basic tenets of American law. But that's not a problem. Because you and I, as co-lieutenants, will be handling these babies. We're going to be looking after these babies. What we will do is we will design our own baby carriage, a pram, if you will, paint it white and blue, like the police, and we will write BCPD, Baby City Police Department, on the side.
Are we in a baby? We're just in Boston, though, you said. Yeah,
you and I will be wearing diapers, by the way.
Okay.
That's the uniform. We'll be wearing a policeman's shirt, which, to be honest, will probably just be a T-shirt with policeman written on it, and adult diapers and hats.
What do the babies wear?
The same thing. They'll be wearing police shirt top with diapers and hats.
Where are we going to get the babies?
I'll talk about that in a second. First of all, we need to talk about the method of crime fighting.
Mm-hmm.
We will be going to the roughest areas of Boston. We'll be going under dirty bridges, dank alleyways, places with a lot of gang criminal activity. We will find people who look criminal, people who look urban, dare I say. I don't want to talk about what the criteria is for identifying criminals, because out of context it will sound incredibly racist. Talk to me after the show, and I will show you drawings I have done. We will find people who look incredibly dangerous, possibly armed. If they're holding knives, the better. We will shout, "Stop, baby police! Stop what you're doing, we know what you've done." Grab a baby, throw it at them, and then fucking run as fast as you can, because, to be honest, it's going to be very dangerous, and you and I aren't seasoned cops. We're going to
Run away from the criminal?
Yeah, we gotta let the seasoned baby police handle this, because you and I are incapable of fighting crime. We're very weak men. We're old
You're
and fat.
really
I'm not that old.
jockeys
Well,
more
I am
than
not.
anything.
We're the handlers. We're the trainers. We trained these guys up to be severe fighting, criminal tackling machines. Which is why we will toss a baby at the gang, run as fast as we can round the nearest corner, and then poke our heads round and watch. And then we'll see the master in action. We'll see a baby wrangle these criminals because of our hardcore training methods, Jonathan.
Baby got mushed already. So because you threw one.
Because we trained them.
Unless the criminal
No,
caught
no,
the
no,
baby
no, we train the babies, Jonathan.
to land,
We've been training them.
to be able to
Yeah.
not get crushed after being flung through the air by
You've got
grown men.
Baby Police Academy has got a sterling, I use my own name, a sterling record for making babies good at fighting gang members. Using a unique blend of intense criticism from Conrad and throwing babies at as many criminals as possible.
Your
In
record
training,
is
too.
absolutely spotless. Spotless.
It's hard to.
It hasn't failed yet.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% success ratio for Baby Police.
So we're just gonna kill babies, I guess.
No, we're going to kill crime.
It might work in that if the criminal catches the baby and looks at the baby, he or she may feel some remorse and their humanity may come back to them and be like, I am such a jerk that they threw a baby at me in order to try to get me
And
to
that's when the
reform.
baby flips around its back and snaps its neck real quick. I mean,
that's what I'm assuming will happen.
Gotta have these babies in shape.
Yeah. I mean, if they look into the baby's eyes, they're going to see the cold, dead eyes of a killer. And then that might scare them straight there and then. But these babies, they're trained, they are technicians of violence, Jonathan.
Wow.
These are what I'm assuming the babies will become by the time you and I are done with them. After Conrad has psychologically broken the baby down to a shadow of its former 1-year-old self, you and I will build it back up as a hardened dispenser of justice. I'm thinking these babies are going to be like Judge Dredd, basically. I'm seeing babies as tough and as steely in resolve as Judge Dredd. I am the law, the baby law.
I keep picturing you playing Colonel Troutman from First Blood, which has now been renamed, I think, Rambo First Blood. You'd be like, you're a killer. You're a trained killer. And then just cutting to a little baby.
Yeah.
Cute.
I would like you to say that to the babies, actually. I would like you to just start now. Any baby you see on the street, keep an eye out for recruits and just walk up to a baby, push the mother out the way and just go up to the baby and say, you're a killer! You're a murderer of killed people. You have killed them all, you prick.
I don't want to do that. I don't even like killing. I like, just sitting around, having a relaxing time.
That's a problem for me. Because I really need you on board for this one. I mean, normally, I really do. Like, a lot of times it's like I wrote you in because I like you and you are my friend. And I want to do stuff with you. I do stuff with you because I want to. This time I really need you. Because, again, I mean, a lot of this is conjecture, but I am assuming a lot of the wastrel, addled drug addicts that wander staggering, drunk and hopeless into your clinic have children.
Whoa.
And that's where I need them from.
Do you want the children of drug addicts to be the baby police?
Who better to fight crime than those with a criminal history and a grudge against the streets?
The babies have a criminal?
They come from a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. That's where they come from. And I am, again, I get a lot of information from popular culture. There's a lot of truth in it. And in my understanding, good babies brought up on the mean streets become mean babies dishing out hard justice.
If you have a bad life, you might be bad at life later. Sometimes that happens.
That's why we get them before their life's properly started. So they've had a bad start, so they're rough and they take no shit. But then Conrad...
They're only 1 year old.
Conrad smashes them apart psychologically.
You call that a scalp? I've seen more hair in the chemo ward.
Just
wow.
like that.
Wow.
And you and I, physically, after he psychologically beats them, you and I physically beat the babies until they are tough.
We can't.
Well, we drop them in boxes with hungry dogs. We roll them down hills in tires. At one point we can get like a moped. I'll be in a passenger like sidecar and you can ride it. We'll look hilarious. We'll look darlingly adorable in a little moped together. Dragging a baby behind us on a length of rope.
I wonder how many years. They might just put us to death. Even in like Massachusetts or Norway or something. In Norway they gave that gentleman who killed all those people, they gave him 21 years in jail. Us, they would just immediately give the chance. Like,
you're saying that we won't get a hero's welcome.
I'm saying that if you take some babies and
borrow some babies and train them.
If you take babies from drug addicts and kill them, and then maybe one will survive or two will survive, then you throw it at more criminals in the street. Like the ones that didn't die end up just being thrown at people who are gonna kill people. Yeah,
I think Holmes is soft on crime. I mean, he turned down baby police. He wouldn't become the amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And, well, there was another one too. Oh yeah, he wouldn't come and be the Joker either. So I mean,
the Joker again. No.
Jonathan,
he's supposed to be Bane.
Yeah.
That's what he was.
I'm detecting. I don't know. I don't want to say cowardly, spineless, pinko commie liberal streak in you, but I'm getting that vibe. I've come up with a way that will definitively, effectively end crime in Boston. There's no way it won't. If you have a highly trained force of killer children on the streets, some might call it a child army.
That's not good. You don't. That's
Cody 2012, everyone. Let's get that guy in office.
That's a point. I know that you might have a point.
I'm pretty sure child armies are a bad thing.
The liberal agenda in America says child armies are a bad thing. I get what you mean. You're saying, don't go to America, don't do this in Norway, let's go to Africa and start a child army there, like in Uganda or somewhere where it's okay, where it's considered fashionable. Yeah?
I didn't say that. No, there's a lot of things I haven't said. That's one of them. Wow.
Okay, well, where do you think we should start our child army?
I think we should...
First question. Where are we getting the Kalashnikovs from?
What's a Kalashnikov? Is that like the Russian cookie?
It's a type of gun. Yeah. Children will have a hard time operating it, but we can probably get them cheap.
Oh, wow. Just picturing you doing the propaganda for this, or I should say the promotional ad campaign, taking pictures of babies with guns, saying tough on crime, and doing a Ghostbusters style. You remember the commercial that the Ghostbusters did, where they did a mock-up where their secretary's like, "Oh, a ghost! Call the Ghostbusters!" You would do something with. It
would be basically that. It would be you, Jonathan, in a dress with a red wig, going, "Oh, a crime!"
Call the
Call
baby
the
police.
baby police! And then me and Conrad will come on and we'll just throw babies, like armfuls of babies at you, Jonathan. We'll just toss them at you, shouting, "You baby cunt! Fucking baby cunt!" And we'll just throw them at you while you're just going, "Ow.
And you
Ow!"
realize the babies would be screaming and bleeding, and there'd be baby teeth flying everywhere, maybe even like baby eyeballs, and just
So
a
the baby,
horrendous din of baby pain.
you think that the babies will be screaming a lot?
Yep.
So
Yeah,
you,
they'll scream if you
yeah,
even
so
pick
you
up
admit they won't be dead.
Not at first,
Not at first.
not midair, not upon landing immediately. It's not instant death. No, I'll give you that. We won't instantly kill babies.
That sounds like good
Take our
odds.
time. Yeah. Ugh.
That sounds like a case. Jonathan, you've sold me on this idea. Jonathan Holmes' baby police. Yeah, we'll roll that out by the end
My
of the
baby
year.
police now.
We will deploy by 2013. Thank you for that idea. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. That's just one of the many ways Podtoid is giving back to the community.
If you did, just cute posters saying "Don't do crime, baby gone cry," or "Oh, baby don't like drugs" or something, then maybe some people would do less crime because they'd be guilted by the baby. But
I like that idea. I would like to make an alteration.
yeah.
Instead of a real baby, it's you with a pacifier in your mouth and a crotchless diaper with your flaccid penis hanging out with "Don't do crime, baby peenie gone soft."
Oh, and then at the bottom, we'll print your phone number on those little like tab things and cut it so that people can
Call me personally after that.
Yeah. Would you like to be our baby whore or not?
What the baby?
Well,
crotchless diapers, baby whore. Wow.
If there's stop fiddling with your microphone.
Oh, it's my dog. It's attacking me.
crotchless diapers.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, if the baby police thing doesn't come off, my other alternative to give back to the community was to offer your services as an adult, but as you said, a crotchless diaper baby whore. Baby prostitution. But don't worry, it's not illegal baby prostitution. It's perfectly above board, family-friendly baby prostitution because it's you. You're bald like a baby. You could suck on a pacifier, and all you've got to do is bend over and go, "Wah! Wah! Wah!" while a man in a business suit cornholes dad ass.
Is it an assless diaper too? Assless and crotchless?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it'll just be a shredded waistband. Really.
Yeah.
It would have to be because the guy's going to need full access to your entire downstairs kitchen.
God.
I'm in trouble in life. It's tough, Like, I'd spend all day. Today's been tough at the day job. I've got some people. Really hard to explain things to them. Gotta tell them a lot of tough news, So I spend all my day using my creative energy trying to word things to people that sometimes have a hard time getting things, and just giving a lot of bad news and trying to be sensitive and supportive in a genuine way. And then I have to think of stuff to say back to this. Like, how do I respond to...
You could start by saying, "That sounds like a great idea, Jim. When do we start?" That would make me happy.
Because I hope it comes across that I am amazed that you can just easily say the words crotchless diaper, words that have never been said before by any person on the planet. Just new idea. Oh, I guess so. I don't know. I've never heard them before. I wouldn't imagine, because it completely defeats the point. The only reason you wear a diaper is so the crotch doesn't.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, but I'm sure it exists. I mean, there's a Rule 34 thing at play here. I'm sure. I'm sure there is someone who just, has a sexual fetish where they are dressed as a baby and gets cornholed and has a pair of special, has a special diaper thing designed for this
Turned
purpose.
on by a diaper? I mean, if you're turned on, like, oh, baby need diaper, that's hot, want to do it. Do that
Look,
butt. Do that baby
the way
butt.
I see it,
Then how could you be turned on if it's crotchless too?
the way I see it, there are
Some of
people
baby-
out there who have been turned on by me. And if there are people out there who would be turned on by me, they can be turned on by anything.
Right.
So everything's fair
Logic
game.
be damned. Diaper logic be damned. They're horny about crotchless diaper.
Right.
All right. Makes sense. Man, it's weird. I woke up this morning full of energy. I had all these ideas. For some reason I was thinking really hard about... I wanted to give Jim an idea for a change, but now I just don't even want to talk. I've just been defeated.
Don't say that. This is why people complain. They think I bully you.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't feel bullied. I just
They think
feel...
I'm mean to you.
Oh, it's not mean at all. My feelings aren't hurt. I'm just pooped out.
And I'll tell you what, it's pathological for me. It makes me feel like I'm perverse. Especially because every week now I've been saying, you know what, I'll try and go back to the basics. I'll think of something more cute and endearing than outright horrific. You know, like when we talked about going to the moon or being grave robbers, you know, that kind of thing. And then I had a fun idea for Baby Police, and then it turned into you being bent over, being fucked up your crotchless diaper ass by a businessman who looked like Limburger from Biker Mice from Mars, probably.
Oh, he's terrifying.
And now I feel bad, because I have done wrong on you.
No, I'm okay. I'm just tired. I feel good. You know I was tired from the get-go. I'm just a little spacey today.
It is a little shocking how it always seems to veer off to that direction somehow.
Well, I think that, let's face it, Jim enjoys saying those words about my butt. He just enjoys saying them.
It's not how I start. I will say that the road to Holmes's ass is paved with good intentions.
But you can't help but keep getting there. I mean, people do what they like. There's some law of physics about it, isn't there? It's like people do what they like. Is that physics? It's like emotional physics. Anyway,
like an inertia.
My idea was... Yeah, exactly. It's like that. Like, motion, object in motion tends to stay in motion. Jim's object of objectifying my ass tends to stay in motion. Have you guys seen Teen Steam?
No.
It's a VHS tape I used to watch. A lot. It's Alyssa Milano singing and doing aerobics. Though I actually forgot all about the aerobics part, because I only watched the singing part. The aerobics I didn't have any interest in. But it's like a music video, and she was a big star at the time. It was Who's the Boss? And I keep thinking about Jim doing it. Jim doing a cover of it. That was my big idea for today. So please, you guys watch Teen Steam, and tell me if you think it would be fun to watch Jim Sterling reenact it, like scene for scene, like how Gus Van Sant did with Psycho.
You've got a thing about having me reenact music videos and
I think it would be
obscure songs.
I don't know why. It comes to mind. I'm half awake. I'm feeling terrible, nauseated and sick and daunted by my big challenging day at the psychiatric hospital. And then I'll just think, teen stain, gotta let it out. Picturing Jim singing that, like holding his hand up to the headphones to make sure he gets good sound while he's singing into his microphone. It's adorable. I really want you to do it.
Oh, maybe we will. I need to come up with a nice treat for you.
Really?
Yeah, because you are a stressed man.
I am.
We're all stressed. We're all stressed out, but it's particularly bad when it is you, because you are a lovely boy.
Oh, thanks, Jim. The same is true. I've got a different kind of stress. I've got psychiatric hospital stress, which I think is a little different than.
I imagine it's several shades worse.
Well, it's a different kind. You know what you could do for me, and this is no pressure, and I only want you to do it if you professionally think it's the right choice. But if I can get
I'm sorting. I already know what you're going to ask.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sorting it out?
I'll sort it out.
That would be fun for me.
Not even... Yeah. Yeah. How many of the Bad Dragon dildos did you want?
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm excited about the Adventure Time game.
That is true, you are. Not Bad Dragon.
Not that
Yeah.
excited about Bad Dragon.
Before we talk about that, I did just want to say, we've talked about Bad Dragon before. It was pointed out by a listener. There is an episode of Podtoid, the title is Twilight Dragon Pussy. It was back when Skyrim came out, and on the Bad...
Oh, yeah.
We talked about, I forgot, but yeah, someone was celebrating the Skyrim launch with that, like, 12-pack of Coke. The chips, I think, Skyrim, and the big dragon fleshlight thing. Must have been a great evening.
But did we call them... Did we use Bad Dragon by name back then?
I don't think we did. I wasn't aware of them. But I have since, obviously, after last week, we talked about them quite a lot. And a lot of furries have started following me on Twitter since then. And I also gave Bad Dragon a mention on a Jimquisition episode afterwards. So, yeah. Bad Dragon itself hasn't talked because I've been trying to get some review copies of their dildos for myself and you, Jonathan.
What?
I want you and I to review dildos from Bad Dragon on the podcast. I think it's something our listeners want and need to know. Hoping to negotiate with them, but so far they haven't responded to any of it. So I'll keep trying because I know, as a professional, Jonathan, you want to be all about this.
It's funny you would mention that. I gained a follower too, a guy who Conrad actually interacted with a little bit on the recent Sup Holmes with Ananthropy and her girlfriend Daphne. A guy watched it. I can't remember his Twitter name off the top of my head. And he was saying on Twitter, it was great to see Anna on the show, but the Detoid guy, I think he was just in it for the money, getting her on the show. Do you remember that, Conrad? Did you read that stuff?
Yeah, I did. It was
actually really interesting that he thought I thought maybe he was joking because no offense to Anna, but she's not like a superstar or anything. She's well known in a very small demographic.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're cashing in off her fame or something. And he said you could tell by my evil eyes that I was having, selfish, demeaning thoughts the whole time, and I had a bad aura. And
actually, you were really just doing this because it benefited you career-wise, and yeah, it was just kind of weird.
Yeah, it was. And I confronted him on Twitter and said, no, actually, I didn't do it for any of those reasons. It's not going to make me a lot of money or any money necessarily. And he really backed off and was pretty strange about it. But then I'm like, let's just be friends. So we're following each other on Twitter, and it's the best decision I've ever made. Because now that I'm following him on Twitter, he just tweets stuff like, frog gun hop in bed, Moses talk about it. And I'm like, what? And then he's tweeting more
and
like...
constant. Like, I think the guy has something like 11,000 tweets.
Yes!
And like
and
30
all
followers.
About frogs hopping, and like...
What?
I think he wants to have
frogs!
Sex. I know, I think he wants to have sex with the frogs, or he thinks like the religion is involved somehow, like... Destroy
it's
Moses.
A very philosophical sort of feed.
It's really interesting.
You're going to have to give us the handle. I want to follow this frogman as well.
I get the sense that English may not be their first language.
That could be. Or he could just... I mean, Twitter... I don't think making fun of people's grammar on Twitter makes sense because it's a different standard. It's
and I'm not making fun of the guy's grammar or anything either.
You're not. It sounded like I was, I think, when I said,
I
hop on bed, frog, do it. Like, what? But it's just incomprehensible a lot of the time.
Right.
And horny. And about religion, too.
Wow.
Nothing else quite like it. I'll try to find his name by the end of the show.
I'm a bit insulted that he thinks you're trying to advance your career, though, when everyone knows I've got that sorted out. That's my jurisdiction. That's not... Your life, Jonathan, is not for you to work out. I've got that on standby.
Yeah. It was a strange... And I think he later said he was just in a bad mood and just decided I was a jerk for no reason. People do that when you're bald and tired looking. I noticed when I was more sprightly faced and had a full head of hair, people didn't assume I was a bird, like a scum-sucking child abuser. But now they do.
They
do.
It's the association with Lex Luthor.
Is that what it is? There are a lot of bald villains in
Gotta
Marvel.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt the same way about Peter Gabriel. As soon as Peter Gabriel shaved his head and got the goatee, he looked just like a supervillain. I instantly assumed that he was making laser beams out of magma.
While we're talking, I'm desperately trying to
Okay,
find
there we go.
out.
His name is Chef Keiru.
Yeah, Keiru is the sound that frogs make in Japan. Like instead of croak or ribbit, they say Keiru Keiru by Japanese standards.
Do you know?
So,
Do you know why
Thank you.
frogs go ribbit?
No, why's that?
There is only one type of frog that goes ribbit. Most frogs don't.
oh, I'm sorry. And when I said how many tweets this guy had, like before you go follow him, I missed an integer. He doesn't have 11,000. He has 112,000.
Yeah, and it's mostly about frogs and
Wow.
philosophy, I think. Interesting
But
stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I follow him actually. I think that's a pretty good idea.
Following
Frog
them, it's not a bad
philosophy.
idea. Yeah, absolutely. And now I'm desperately trying to find that Justin Bieber sex toy. I came unprepared.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to Pipe Dream Extreme Toys. It's on pipedream.com, I think, which I'm now on and feeling terrible. Fuck Me Silly 2 Mega Masturbator, 1 per case. I'm looking at that now. Feels bad. It's just basically a decapitated woman with her arms and legs cut off with just boobs and vagina. Fuck
Ugh.
Me Silly makes me feel terrible. uh,
Is she supposed to be quadriplegic?
But she's also been beheaded. Her
Oh,
boobs
it's
go in two
just-
totally different directions, like a chameleon's eyes.
It's just a torso,
Yeah,
like
it's
what Ed Gein would fuck or something.
exactly, with huge bloated hips and, like I said, boobs that look like chameleon's eyes. It says, "You've always dreamt of fucking a hottie with 36 double Ds and super tight waist. So what are you waiting for?" Awful.
Presumption followed by berating.
Yeah. Note at the bottom, it says, "Note, both the pussy and ass openings connect to the same canal, which is approximately 7 inches long." Why would you need to know that?
Because it would probably freak you out if you're coming up someone's ass and then they
can't
the
double
spunk
team it.
out of the vagina.
No, it's important because then you can't double team it. You're gonna like.
Wouldn't you be freaked out if you were having sex with a decapitated woman with no arms or legs? That's the first.
Yes,
Hey, I
but
think
not nearly as disturbed as I was going to be as I'm sharing this headless, armless, legless monstrosity with my buddy, and our dicks touched. Okay.
yeah, that would just be wrong.
That would be gross.
But hey, I think the message is that a lot of men already see women as just tits and panties without heads and arms and legs, right, guys?
That was a good reaction. It was important to react to that properly.
There
And at the end, it says
be more
both passengers.
social commentary next week, by the way.
Oh,
That was this week's new feature, social commentary by us.
Well, I'll keep trying to look for that Bieber.
Oh, you haven't
toy while
found
we
Justin
talk.
Bubo yet?
No, I'm just obsessed with reading about how awful this is now.
I tell you what, though,
Yes?
I can pass the time with a Willem Dafoe movie pitch.
Could you?
Yes, I could.
That would be great.
Willem Dafoe. For those who are new listeners, not every week, but every now and then now, it's kind of semi-regular, we come up with a movie idea for star of stage and screen Willem Dafoe to star in. And that's what I'm going to do now.
Indeed. Good introduction. Yeah.
Willem Dafoe is a beat cop on the streets of Boston. He's in a bit of a rut. He's got a decent job, pays well, he's got a family, but he's frustrated because the streets of Boston are mean and full of gangsters. The mafia is there, the Russian mafia is there, another mafia is there, the Yakuza have recently set up base in Boston, as have Shredder's gang from the Turtles, the Foot Clan. The Yakuza and the Foot Clan are fighting. The Russian Mafia, the Mafia, and the other Mafia are all in a three-way drug, gang, murder, blood, prostitute war. It's a wreck. It's like Detroit from RoboCop times 10. And Willem Dafoe is the only cop on the force who isn't corrupt. And he doesn't know what to do.
Mm.
Police Captain Man.
His name?
That's his name. That's his rank. Police Captain Man. His name is Jonathan Holmes.
That doesn't make any sense.
When he's at a loss, he's at the zoo trying to look at animals to see how they fight crime, so that he can learn their techniques. He's like, well, lions aren't drug dealers. How do they do it? I'm going to go to the zoo and see how lions stop themselves drug dealing. So he goes to the zoo when a mugging takes place. A mugger grabs an old woman's purse and says, I'm a criminal, I'm going to mug this. He's played by Brendan Fraser. He runs away, and Willem Dafoe gives chase. He says, I'm Jonathan Holmes, and I'm going to give chase to you. Runs after him. The criminal trips up on an errant baby that was sitting on the ground. He trips up, the purse that he grabbed flies in the air, and Willem Dafoe jumps 20 feet up in the air and catches it and says, wow, if it wasn't for that baby, this crime would never have been solved. And so he sets up, based on a true story, this Jonathan Holmes' Baby Police. And the film is about it's a prequel, it's going to be a trilogy. The first film is about him gathering babies from far and wide, all across Boston, and training them in the police academy. Baby Police Academy.
This is just like your... what? This is not dissimilar from your idea for what... Okay, I'm sorry.
It's a biographical story. It's based on a true story. That's why it's called Jonathan Holmes, and why the police chief is called Conrad Zimmer person. And the dashing, handsome man, played by Rutger Hauer, is called Jam Stalling. So anyway, co-lieutenants Jonathan Holmes and Jam Stalling train these babies up as they try and take down the Don of Boston, the crime Don, who has recently set up a dummy company, an MMA fighting tournament championship. This is the first true test of the baby police. Willem Dafoe, playing Jonathan Holmes, inserts one of the babies undercover as an MMA fighter.
Whoa.
Now, baby, you gotta fight in the MMA and become the best fighter. To learn all about the dawn of crime, played by Weird Al Yankovic. And so they train the baby, and what follows is about half an hour of Brock Lesnar, the MMA fighter, pummeling the shit out of a baby. The baby loses, but like in Rocky, it gains the respect of the Don, because it didn't just lose, it stayed the distance. Meanwhile, the subplot is Willem Dafoe's character falls in love with another worker on the force, specifically a member of the baby police, and the tension of interpersonal workplace relations is brought up as Willem Dafoe has sex with one of the baby police.
Oh, no.
Now you say, oh no, don't worry.
What?
Because just like how actors, play different age roles, we will be getting an adult in that role. So we will be having iCarly in a diaper and bra. And a sex scene that lasts 45 minutes between Willem Dafoe and iCarly. And they have sex with each other. The Terminator music, and they're scrunching the covers, and there's a big close-up of Willem Dafoe's tongue coming out of his mouth Baby, I love you, newborn baby. And he has kissing with iCarly, who just goes, "Wah! Wah!"
Wow.
and then and then he says, "Right, gonna flip you over for anal." And then all the while it cuts to a slow motion image of Brock Lesnar punching another baby and turning its face inside out.
Maybe we could do one of those sort of stylish, like side-by-side panel things. Lesnar just pounding a baby, Defoe just pounding a baby.
Yeah. And he actually says that. He says, "Lesnar's pounding a baby, and I'm pounding a baby." Anyway, he comes. He pulls out. He
So gross.
He gives Miley Cyrus's breasts the full treatment.
What is it? Is it rated R? Rated PG-13?
It's a Disney film, and he finishes off. Gives it a little tug, and he just. Oh, that feels good. And then Police Chief Conrad Zimmerperson, who is played by the old man from the television hit show Pawn Stars, comes in and says, "God damn it, Willem Dafoe, you goddamn dumbass. You can't have sex with another worker on the force." And then fires him because he had sex with a co-worker. And then the credits roll.
Well, that's the first part of the trilogy, right? The second film will be about redemption and...
Exactly. Yeah. Willem Dafoe is being hunted through the streets for having sex with a co-worker. And they talk on, TV. We'll get actual people like Glenn Beck or whoever to be on TV and say things like, "This is disgusting how a good, honest man of the police force could have sex with another police officer. It's immoral."
So it'll leave people thinking.
Yeah, and Willem Dafoe has to, earn back the right to join the police force and head up baby police, while the Don of Crime, played by Weird Al Yankovic, is continuing to push drugs to cats.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it. Mm.
Baby police.
Baby police. It's a thing you think about.
Based on a true story, as I say, like that time when you set up baby police and then fucked a child.
My life. And this whole time.
It's my
What am I doing?
Life.
I'm listening to you while I look up Justin Bieber's stuff.
It's my life, it's my life. It's
Is that
my life.
Bon Jovi?
It's my life. It's some song from somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you, I was listening, but I was hard at work for some reason, just destroying any chance of this computer not being something that could incriminate me in the future if people check my search history. Looking up for the Justin Bieber sex doll, I did find out in the process that Amazon sells all of this stuff. And remember that...
Oh, yes, the user reviews on those. One of the listeners, after the... what was the Miley Cyrus doll? One of the listeners sent me over Twitter or Facebook a link to the Amazon user reviews for that doll. Where they just really trashed it. People did not enjoy the Miley Cyrus sex doll at all.
That's a shame.
Cheap quality, didn't really look at all like her or the model that they had in the box. A lot of praise for the model, though.
Oh yeah, they go all out. Yeah. Right now I'm looking at for $940.92.
What?
Is the Pipe Dream Products Extreme Fuck Me Silly Slut, which is different from the Fuck Me Silly doll we were looking at earlier. Yep, that's a woman's decapitated head and drawn and quartered torso, no arms and legs. That's almost $1,000. And this one, just so you know, it's not totally sexist. The PDX Fuck Me Silly Dude is a decapitated man. He's got great abs, no arms and legs.
Huge
And
penis.
with that one, you never have to worry about you and your buddy touching dongs because you're, in the same channel.
Yeah.
I don't know if he
that's-
has an ass.
Unless you
Totally
get
cool.
the midget version, and then the two orifices are still 7 inches apart.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're saying this is for women. Maybe it is.
Wow.
And it's
I'm sure that there are a few women out
$446. It's almost $500. This thing.
I
Squeeze
suspect more men have bought it.
I assume, but there's no butthole. I don't think.
I know what to get my wife for Christmas anyway.
It says, "Squeeze his squishy testicles. Rub your fingers over his chiseled six-pack while you bite his perky nipples and stroke off his stiff penis. Stick a finger up his tight little anus. My mistake."
God, that just seems like the most senseless activity ever.
Yeah.
Stroking off a headless, armless body with a semi-erect rubbery
The only thing that would have made that better is if at the end of the list of things to do, it just has a bulleted point that says, "To be honest, your options are fairly limited."
No, it's going on. Saying, stick your finger up his tight little anus while you deep throat his tasty man meat! Exclamation point. Whatever you want to do. He never says no. Like any guy does, ever.
No, that's
like,
not
whoa,
true.
you
I've
finally
said no.
found a guy, he'll just lay there and let you perform fellatio on him. You lucky dog, only $400.
I have said no.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, Conrad. You've got standards, but a lot of men
not
don't.
that. It's that there are consequences.
True,
Some
well,
of
when
them
you're in a relationship and stuff. Yeah.
No, even outside of a relationship, there are attachment issues, and some people are just not well suited for a casual sexual encounter that are going to walk away from it and not call you the next morning. There are consequences.
And this is why, Jonathan, we do not allow inter-office relations at Baby Police.
Exactly.
I'm going on. I don't know why.
I know you're really pulling for this, but it's just not going to happen.
Keep your hot dog in your buns.
Right now, because I am a Podtoid cast member and just a hollow shell of a man who's not even enjoying it, just in this like sick, sad hunt for a Justin Bieber sex doll, I've stumbled upon Sex Flesh Doggy Style David Compact Masturbator, which is just a man's ass and testicles and a tiny, tiny penis. But it's mostly there for just a man's ass. This lifelike masturbator is made of super realistic sex flesh material. It'll make your fantasies come to life. But unlike other bulky and wiggly toys, David comes in a compact portable size that's easier to maneuver. Perfect for discreet storage.
Okay, wait, does it have... I have to know, does it have product dimensions?
That's a great question, Conrad. I'm glad you asked. It's 3.5 pounds, and it's 7 by 5.5 by 4 inches. Yeah.
Wow, that's a nice little compact app.
Compact. You could fit that under your desk at work, or
put that in a briefcase.
You could take it with you on a long coach trip.
You could.
Possibilities are endless. Don't pack the travel Scrabble, Dad. Let's bring the compact anus this year.
David. His name's David. Jim.
No, I'm being a kid planning a family trip.
Right.
Rather than travel games, bring along a compact anus. The whole family can join in. Why play I Spy when you can cornhole Dad ass?
You can't fuck Yahtzee.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, they did name the anus for a reason. You are all big on naming your apples. You can at least name your anus.
No, I have respect for someone who's willing to name a body part or whatever,
Doggy style David.
If I'm going to address that body part directly, I'll make sure to use its proper name.
Yeah, you should look this up later. I'm sad.
Have you found Justin Bieber's sex doll? The people.
I have.
The people are hungry.
It was hard to find. Because it's not out yet. I guess I.
Is he 18? I mean, they can release that, right?
I think he's no. I don't think he's 18 yet.
Oh, okay. So do they have to wait till he's 18 to release it?
It's pre-order now. All the rest you can buy.
Are we hoping to have it out by Q4?
I'll look into that, Jim. I'll get in touch with.
Will it be out before BioShock Infinite? That's what we want to know.
That's the email I will write to pipedream.com.
No. Write it to Irrational.
Oh,
Dear
Right.
Ken Levine, will Bioshock Infinite be out before the Justin Bieber sex doll?
I need to decide how to spend my money.
That is not something we should not.
Dear Ken Levine, should I buy the Justin Bieber sex doll or Bioshock Infinite? I very nearly suggested Podtoid listeners just start asking Ken Levine lots of questions.
know.
That would be an abuse of our position.
Terrible.
Don't
no
do
one
that.
should do that.
No one should do that.
Terrible.
But I can give you his Twitter handle if you want.
It's pretty easy to find, yeah. And he responds to people a lot. He's actually pretty friendly on Twitter. So this company, they're called Pipe Dream.
And can we
They've got a
apologize in
Superstar
advance?
series. To him? Oh, we didn't do anything.
Oh,
We are
but
not
it's
responsible.
someone's gonna do it now.
Oh,
So-
I doubt that.
No one will do it.
No one will do it. Why would they do that?
They'll be too busy asking questions to Jonathan Holmes.
Yeah, probably.
Him, they've got all day for.
Yeah. So they've got a whole line. They've got J-Ho, Fantasy Doll, Paris, I assume it's supposed to be Paris Hilton, Dirty Christina, Pamela Anderson, as though she's relevant, Crazy Daisy, I think it's supposed to be that time that Jessica Simpson was Daisy Duke in the... And then another one, to Jessica Simpson, right. Lindsay Lohan, Fully Loaded, then also Lindsay Blohan, which is her in jail. Jessica Sin from Sin City.
Well,
So-
I mean, let's not go through them all because you will be reading all of these.
I'm never
in time.
reading. I'm doing this now because I'm never doing another one of these. Kinky Kim.
You're
She
doing
ain't
them
no-
all. If you don't do them, I'll do them.
Well, that's true. You
They're
could.
gonna get done. We've got to get through the list. It's like Pokemon.
That makes me feel awful. So all of those are available. There's only two men. Guido Lovedoll, which is no one in particular, but I assume it's supposed to be a member of the
Jersey
Jersey
Shore.
Shore. That's right. And then Just-in Beaver Lovedoll, it's called. And on the top of the box it says, "I'm not gay." And then yeah, I read that last week. It's still funny, right? Then in brackets smaller it says, "Okay, maybe a Lil." It's even worse.
Wow,
Yeah.
way to flip flop on your policies, Justin.
Yeah, it sucks. And he's a pretty handsome guy, better looking than the real Justin Bieber. Much better shape. He's a pretty muscular dude. They got to play him. And it says, "Beaver tells all." And then in quotes, "Selena can suck the gold off my Grammy." I hate these jokes. I feel terrible. "Finally 18, ready to rock your world." You're right, Jim. They're waiting for him to turn 18, and then they're going to release it. Says, "I want to be your boy toy." Then he's just looking at the camera, winking, and there's a woman behind him touching him. And she has a little thought balloon that says, "He still needs practice." And it doesn't make any sense. It's like a Fellini film. It's totally surreal and illogical.
Well, I think it's suggesting that he is an inadequate lover with a female partner because.
But he's looking at us winking
sexual.
with confidence, and underneath it, and he's got dog tags for some reason, as though he's in the army, and it says, "I finally got laid," as though Justin Bieber is like waiting to get laid. But then the woman is saying he's not good at sex, and yet this is supposed to get you to want to buy the sex doll toy of the not gay, maybe Lil gay.
No, it's that he's good. He's
carnival
good
of
with
horrors.
men, I think, is what they're suggesting, because that's what he's really
Yeah,
into.
basically it's implying that Justin Bieber is proud to have gotten one over on a woman by tricking her into thinking he's straight so he could give her bad sex.
And
I
this
think that's
is
the
what
thing.
turns on people who want to have sex with Justin Bieber. Like, oh, he's bad at having sex with women. That's hot. Is that right?
Have we not determined by this point that anyone who would make a purchase of this sort is probably not thinking along the same lines we are?
I suppose so. I just assume everyone.
They're
comes
you
from
know,
the same vantage
people
point.
are happy. They want to have. It's a very particular fetish. It's not just I want to have sex with Justin Bieber. It's I want to have sex with a closeted Justin Bieber who actively enjoys tricking women into straight sex with him.
And he's bad at it. Too.
Yeah, because he's the closeted homosexual. But whereas normally people are very conflicted. It's a very serious issue to be in the closet and deal with those emotions. But that doesn't turn on the people interested in this doll. They don't want the conflict. They want a man who enjoys being in the closet because that allows him to fool women into bad sex.
This is wow.
It's
it
a
feels
very
like a dream within a dream.
Yeah,
it's like Inception.
it's very complex fetish.
I have no idea what's going on.
What does the rest of the book say?
All right, I'll read it as quickly as I can. Meet Justin Bieber, the barely legal boy toy who's waited 18 years to stick his little dicky in something sticky. He's waited all 18 years, I guess. Anyway, that's not from the book.
The second he was born!
Yeah.
The second he came out, he's right. I got this little peanut. It's going in something sticky. Give me a pot of glue or give me death.
Yeah,
I gotta wait 18 fucking years for this. Oh, I might as well have a musical career while I'm waiting.
When he's not busy beating up paparazzi or beating off, he's up to his high tops and Hollywood hot tail. But the beef stir doesn't have this effect on just women. He turns straight men gay faster than you can peel his skinny jeans off. So what are you waiting for? Inflate his little prick's ego even more and have your very own beaver bash. It says, wow, without blinking an eye. What did they just say? He arouses men and women, but he has bad sex with women, which means he'll be hotter to have sex with if you're a man? Seriously. They need to make an Inception 2 about explaining the appeal of the sex doll, because it's like you just have to keep going deeper in, and there's like twists and turns and symbolism, and oh wow, it's deep. Thanks for letting me read it, guys. I hope I did all right. I do feel thoroughly soiled, though.
I'm so grateful. Things like this comfort me in the knowledge that I will never have like a level of fame or recognition commensurate with people having an interest in my personal life to the degree that this makes suggestions about his.
Yeah.
Indeed. We will never have sex dolls about me.
God.
I hope. I think.
Well, no, I mean we might. I think Jim and I might cook one up of you, but
Yeah. I think definitely we will make one of you.
That's
In fact, I might buy
we won't
this.
be marketing it. We won't be writing any, copy.
I'm very tempted to buy this Justin Bieber sex doll, stain it with coffee, and then tell everyone it's you.
They don't show any pictures of the doll ever. It's just a handsome model. He's like playing guitar and jumping up in the air with no pants on, wearing a leather jacket. Yeah, I wonder what the doll looks like. I'll try to find pictures, I guess. I'm sorry.
It probably looks exactly like Mick Hucknall.
Who's Mick Hucknall?
Lead singer of Simply Red.
Oh, yeah, he's not that attractive.
With his melted candle face.
More video game talk before questions you guys want?
Oh, I suppose we better, yeah.
Yeah?
Probably ought to.
PS1 Classics on PS Vita, what a fucking mess.
Yeah,
it's not working out?
That's all I've got to say about it. It works, kind of, in the same way that Joker's plan worked in The Dark Knight. In that it's just sown chaos and confusion and immense disappointment. It's an amazing... I'm really in a state of utter disbelief. And
really? How is that possible by this point?
That's the amazing thing.
How can you witness Sony roll out, content expansions year on year and fail to do so in a manner that makes them appealing at launch?
Well,
how are you surprised?
I would not blame me for this. I would rather praise Sony's ability to always surprise. So, always surprises. I mean, I looked forward to... This was literally the only firmware update I've ever looked forward to, of the 10 billion that Sony put out.
You get one every week. This is the one.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one that I am gonna download with a smile. I did not download it with a smile, because prior to downloading it, I found out what Sony had done. which is 9 games are available for download.
Right.
Last week, Sony said over 100 games would be available to download on the PlayStation Network. They would be available at launch. Today, we find out that the over 100 became 9.
Less than 10%.
Couldn't even round it up to 10. Couldn't even do that. Couldn't even pay us that courtesy. A lot of obvious ones: Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil.
And then Europe gets Fair Effect Retro Helix. Oh my god, I'm so pissed off.
Yeah, that was the other. That was strike number 1. 9 games available for download. Strike number 2.
The US or just
For
Europe?
North America. Strike number 2. In Europe, they released 50 games for download. And
Great for Europe. That's so awesome that they
great.
got exactly what you could realistically expect of Sony. Like, they said 100's going to be available at launch. 50 comes out. You're like, yeah, that's not. I could see why you were surprised too.
If anything, it's like it would piss Europeans off to get 50 after being promised over 100, but it really softened the blow for them to find out that North America got 9. So in a way, that's good PR for Sony Europe.
Yeah, they got 5 times as many.
Not quite as good when you find out strike number 3. Japan got 297.
Oh my god.
So there's your first. They're 3 strikes. Collectively strike A. It gets complicated. It's gonna get worse. We had regional fuck-ups. I say fuck-ups, obviously it was planned, but in my eyes it's a fuck-up. 9 games for North America, 50 for Europe, 297 for Japan.
God.
Don't worry though, kids. Don't worry though, my friend.
Are they going to release a few every week?
Oh, even better than that. You can still transfer them if you own a PS3. You can transfer more than 9. In fact, you can transfer most of them. Except Tumba, the one I was looking forward to.
Oh, God.
And several others, like Medieval, so people haven't got to work. The 2 most obvious, Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, they're not available. You can get Cool Borders, though. Don't worry there, kids. So, you can transfer them. Strike number 4. Sony doesn't tell you how. So,
to transfer them.
yeah, they didn't know. Gamers had to discover this themselves. Strike number 5. Nobody knows which games can be transferred. And so it was up to Reddit and NeoGAF and several other places to try every single game. And list which ones worked and which ones didn't. Strike number 6. So unintuitive is to transfer.
Can you do strike 6?
You can when Sony's involved. As the promotional campaign says, believe. Strike number 6.
It only does everything wrong.
Yeah. Strike number 6. Oh, they are so unintuitive as the download process that a lot of people didn't realise that you can't just transfer games from the PS3 to the PS Vita. That would be convenient and quick. No. If you've installed the game on your PS3, the PS Vita won't recognise it. You have to... Oh, God. You have to download the game again and then not install it on the PS3. So it exists in a pre-installed state of being.
Where you cannot play it
Where you
in
can't
any way,
play it.
shape, or form.
So it now cannot be played on the PS3. But in this state, you can then plug your PS Vita into the PS3, open up the content manager, and then transfer the content, and then separately transfer the save file.
Well,
and
that is so
if that's
easy.
one of the games that works.
Huh?
If that's one of the games that
If
works.
it's one of the games that works.
I mean, what could be simpler than that? That's nothing.
Yeah, so last week's big promise of over 100 games to download and play and what have you, turned into me downloading Final Fantasy VII for over an hour on the PS3 because of its shitty network. and then having to transfer over the game, and then forgetting I had to transfer the save file separately, so then turning the PS3 back on and then retransferring again. And all I wanted to do today was play Tomba on my PS Vita. That Sony, ladies and gentlemen, it's truly amazing. As I say, I shouldn't be surprised. Maybe it's my fault, but I am still...
This is still really... I mean, this, even for Sony, this is a scale of... I mean, that's so impressive.
Yeah, the games are over a decade old, most of them. This shouldn't be a problem. This wasn't available at launch. Sony's had almost 10 months to do this. But I get the impression they started on Monday. It's jaw on the floor. I just...
Yeah.
When,
Is it worse than the eShop, you think? The 3DS eShop?
Yes, this is worse than the eShop. Okay. Just because of, not only is it convoluted, contrived, needlessly complicated, and under-furnished, it's also marred by a lack of communication, not just with customers but developers. Monkey Paw Games promised people that Tomba would be available today and didn't know Sony had told them wrong. So Monkey Paw had to weather a lot of complaints from people who thought Monkey Paw lied to them when it was Monkey Paw that had been misled and then propagated the misinformation, and it wasn't their fault. So yeah, it's been a total fucking shambles. And it was already sad that this was the one thing I had to look forward to on the PS Vita this summer. Like, it was already bad that was it. That this was my thing I was happy for to turn the Vita on for. The fact they got it wrong, the fact they got even that wrong, something so simple, it was appalling that I was looking forward to it, and they still managed to fuck it up. Wow.
Yeah.
Get a Granny Smith round of applause from me for that. Wow.
I was actively depressed, because you know how Chad Conselmo is very positive a lot of the time about most things.
Yeah.
I think of Dale North, our editor-in-chief, as being like that about Sony products. Like, he played the PlayStation Portable Go, the PSP Go. He was like, this thing is awesome. He was like the one human being I knew that said that. And he was all excited about the PlayStation Vita, and he was all excited about what was going on today. And he even wrote a post like, I got Jammer Lammy on my PlayStation Vita, guys. Like, just so enthusiastic about it. And Jammer Lammy is a great game. And then he had to update it saying, actually it sucks on the Vita. The timing's all off. It's practically unplayable. And I was like, even Dale
I love
is
Dale,
sad?
but Dale gets really excited. Like Resident Evil 6. Like, I was talking to him about Resident Evil 6. I have a preview that it's almost written. But I can talk about it now, so. He's really excited for that game. And I see a game that, he wrote a preview back in around E3 time where he said, it's going in they're finding their direction, they're, focusing and they're moving it in a place. And I don't see that. I see a game that's struggling to find its identity now. They're implementing a new skill system, which, I mean, yes, okay, so is it skills or guns? Are you picking up skill points or are you picking up money? It's really not that different. Mm-hmm. Except, you have your weapons all the time, and then you have builds, like you're doing Call of Duty style loadouts, and you can have several of them and then switch on the fly in the middle of a stage. And it doesn't feel, Resident Evil, of course, has changed so much. And the thing I was thinking about in terms of the way its mechanics have really shifted is that in early games you killed enemies because you had to do it. You had no other option in the matter. Mm-hmm. When you could run away from an enemy, it was generally to your benefit to do so. If you could find another way around them. Mm-hmm. And later Resident Evil games reward you for eliminating enemies. And, through collecting cash or collecting skill points, or, it encourages you to hold out in an area and eliminate every opposition in that area to maximize your benefit going forward. Mm-hmm. And I think they've determined that people just really love the mercenaries.
Yeah,
Right,
they do.
yeah.
They like just killing the guys.
Yeah, and that's
That's
okay. I mean, the mercenaries is a perfectly fine gameplay mode. It's not really what I want out of a horror game. I don't
Well, I think
find it, I think the game gets tense. It's not scary. There are points that it's disorienting, and I think that's where they go for their, we're going to make people freaked out. We're going to disorient them. But snowstorms aren't fun. There's just nothing fun about a snowstorm.
Yeah, it's just like your screen's broken.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's fuzzy. Well, you know how I feel. I've talked about Resident Evil 6 a bunch. I've totally lost optimism. I think it'll be a fine little action game with a big budget.
I think people will enjoy it.
Yeah, but it's nothing. It's not what Resident Evil used to be. It's not what the Resident Evil name means to me anyway, and it's not anything special.
Even in the campaign stuff, like every time I sort of think, "Hey, this isn't getting so bad. This isn't so bad anymore." It's found a focus. Then it like flips bitch round on me, and like, "Hey, now you're gonna run into the camera for a bit while being chased by a big guy. Don't fuck up."
Right, instant kill. Yeah, the pacing and I'm sad about it. I used to like that series a lot, but things change. I used to love Rat. I used to love the rock and roll band Rat. And I don't like them anymore. Should we do questions? Should I talk about the games I played? I haven't played that much.
We gotta wrap this up. So
let's do questions.
Yeah, let's do some
I'll just quickly say I played Last Story some more. I still like it, though.
You're enjoying it, yeah.
I really liked it for a while, and now it's getting a little slow for my blood. But for a little while there, I was like, I can't believe this is so fun. The story is so cliche, it's almost non-existent. And I don't really like stories in games, so that works for me. Like, it just goes through me like water. Like it never even happened. And the characters, though, story aside, the characters are so innocent and likable. Their world is so sweet and naive. It's like anti-Grand Theft Auto in that way. It's like the big crime is like knocking over lemons in this game. Like, don't knock over the lemons. Oi, you're gonna be a knight someday. You're a bit of a bully. Like, I've heard that so many times. It's just a sweet little place to go to. I totally understand your gripes with it, Jim. There are some technical flaws in the game for sure, but it's just a place I like to go. It's kind of like Animal Crossing for me, but with good-looking British people. Anyway, I'll do the questions now. Should I? Is that what I should do?
Yeah, let's do a couple.
Okay, let's do it. Talking more about Guild Wars 2, someone specifically asked you, his name is Mr. Michael Graham. He's at Mr. X. That's Mr._X. What does Jim think of the Guild Wars 2 cash shop? What's the cash shop, Jim? I don't even know what that is. Tell me about it.
I haven't looked into it too much. I had a look at some of the currency exchange for the in-game gold to the thing. Basically, you buy gems from what I saw, and then the gems are currency. So you pay for gems with your own real-life money, and then those gems are spent on mostly cosmetic, but a few extra little buffer-type things in the game. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's no subscription fee for this game, as far as I'm aware. So I don't have a big problem with that. I do still have problems with games that, you pay a $60 charge or whatever for, and then they put microtransactions in still, trying to put a free-to-play model in something that wasn't free-to-play. But the fact that it is an MMO without a subscription fee, and that's how they're sustaining the ongoing game, I ain't got a problem with that. Although I'm not sure whether he's asking whether what I think of it in terms of its quality or what I think of it as a concept. But I haven't really diddled much with the quality with the actual thing to judge its quality. So, it's a nice idea. I'd have to really see how invested I get in the game before I consider spending any actual money on it, though.
So many good questions this week. Oh, this is sad. People ask why Destructo Kite Is Felix Malunga asks, why do you like Nintendo so much, if you don't mind me asking? I have to answer that just because that. You don't mind me asking. I like a lot of the games made by Nintendo because they are old school, and I am old. You know, they're old people making video games, and I am an old person. The kinds of games I grew up on, they're still making those games, and those are my favorite kinds of games. I never wanted them to stop being made, and they are still making them. So that's one reason. I don't like all their games, that's for sure, and I don't like a lot of their business decisions. And a lot of the games by them I really like, they don't even bring out here because they are thought to be unmarketable or too weird. But yeah, Nintendo, it makes the kind of games that I grew up loving, and they still make them, and I'm happy about that. Sega does too, a lot of the time, but not quite as much. They've tried to adjust themselves with the times a bit more, and as a result, seem like they're struggling. That's how I feel about Resident Evil 6 too. It feels like they're trying to change with the times and such, losing their souls. Sad. Another question. In the upcoming film The Nymphomaniac, Willem Dafoe has to perform real sexual acts opposite Shia LaBeouf. Thoughts? That's from Matt the Chimp. Is that true?
I've had a few people bring this up to me, because any Willem Dafoe news is sent my way now. Yeah, I'm all for it. Let's see that dong. Let's see it happen. And thanks to it came.
From Frankie?
From Frankie.
That's so weird. I'm so happy. And there's other stuff in there too, right? Muddy Buddies Chex Mix and stuff.
There's Muddy Buddies Chex Mix, a copy of Freaks. Freaked.
Oh, good. You'll have to watch that.
Yeah, a postcard that said "Turnip Friend" on it or something. I don't know. Lovely letter, talking about Podtoid and everything, which was my favourite part of it, really. Yeah, thank you so much, Frankie. The figure, it's a custom-made Willem Dafoe figure, that amazingly detailed face. That's on this week's Jimquisition video. He's going to be a new permanent fixture on the set. Miniature fantasy Willem Dafoe. It's a recurring co-host.
He's wearing a little rabbit costume. I think it's from a Green Goblin doll, maybe? I'm not sure how it happened. But yeah, thank you so much, Frankie. He sent me one too. I was touched beyond belief about that. We'll do a couple more if you want. Blood Gin asks, with the fracturing of gamer culture into so many subsets, what, in your opinion, constitutes a gamer? Nothing. I think gamer is a term that sucks, like so many terms. You use it, you're going to confuse people, for sure. I use it out of laziness sometimes, and I always regret it afterwards. It's like fast food, it's easy and quick, but it's bad, and you do it anyway. So I try not to do it.
I use it the same. I see it the same way you'd say sports fans. It's like, a sports fan isn't going to watch every single sport. They might only just watch one sport, but, it's just a blanket term to denote a sizable demographic. I've got no inherent problem with the term.
Yeah, I have more term problems than you guys. Yeah, I'm known for not liking terms, so that's me not liking terms again. 2D2 Will asks, do you see developers moving towards the Wii U after the PS4 and next Xbox launch to increase production costs on the later two? Not if the PS4 and the next Xbox sell really well and their games make a lot of money. Then that'll just change the way games are made into bigger budgets and bigger sales to support them. But if they don't sell, if they don't make money, then yeah, people will back off a bit and focus on Wii U development.
Yeah, if it were any other company than Sony, I'd say, well, they have to learn a lesson from the PS3 cell architecture, and there's no way they'll make that, a problem for developers to develop on the hardware again like they did. But, if that's the case, it's just going to make things more expensive.
Yeah, I honestly, my expectation, people talk about the PS4 and the next Xbox a lot as though they already know they're going to be super powerful machines that will be relatively expensive like the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 were. But I'm not as confident that that's going to happen because Microsoft and Sony did notice Nintendo's success with a cheaper, smaller, weaker console. And I definitely think their next consoles will be more powerful than the Wii U, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be way, way more powerful and way, way more expensive, because that didn't work for them that well.
Yeah,
this
I
time
think you're
around.
right. I think it will. I think they will be producing machines that aren't necessarily the same leap in terms of hardware costs and quality that we saw with the last generation of consoles switching over.
Mm.
I can't help but think, with some of the moves that Sony and Microsoft have been making, that we're going to see that online focus really become more and more at the forefront, and we're just going to run into so many issues with our network infrastructure in the United States, at least, to be prepared for that I think it's going to hold everyone back. In terms of being able to leverage other technological means than putting expensive, complex hardware into everybody's homes.
Yeah, I don't think that the Xbox 360 succeeded because it was so powerful. I think it succeeded because it had online features that people were absolutely in love with, and it had a lot of first-party titles. So I don't
Dude,
think
the most powerful system... I can't think of a generation where the most powerful system has been the clearest victor.
Yeah,
I don't think so. The
Master
PS2
System.
was behind last gen. The fucking... I mean, the original PlayStation, I believe, kicked the Dreamcast's ass. All kinds of shit like that. Like, history has demonstrated people go where the good games are, and the interesting ideas, the things that can expand their entertainment.
Right.
PS2, yeah, it plays games. It's a DVD player. Awesome. I'll have that. Xbox, it's got these games and also this huge online community to it. Yeah, I'll have that. It's this stuff that enhances entertainment in general, that seems to do well and gives people a lot of entertainment for their money. Not necessarily something that's $500. Has some kick-ass games, but just not that many.
Yeah, that's what they're going to try to avoid, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what they try to do to hook people other than just using processing power. I hope they come up with something interesting. Oh, boring. Even I was bored listening to myself talk. Say that. It was painful. We'll do one last question because it's a good one. Robot A. Leon asks, what's your favorite game this year so far? Is that hard to answer? You can just say anything.
You don't really could, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to pick the very best, but what's a game you really like so far this year, guys?
Well, right now I'm pretty well hooked on Rock Band Blitz, actually.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's going to be my favorite game this year, but it's definitely one I'm going to put a lot of time into, because if you're doubtful as to whether or not you'll like it, there's going to be a demo. The demo's out now on PSN. It'll be out tomorrow on 360. Play the demo and try it, because there is a kind of a nuanced depth of strategy that, no matter how hard I tried to explain it in the review I wrote, doesn't come across. I'm working on a high score guide right now to post tomorrow.
Awesome. Wow, really? That's great.
It's just so much to the game, and that it's just really fun when you dig around. If you like mechanics, if you like to find a way to eke out another 150 points out of something, or in this case, 20,000, it's so much fun for that. So I'm hooked on that right now.
What do you say, more so than regular Rock Band then, which is pretty much sheet music?
They're completely different experiences. Regular Rock Band is a social endeavor with other people that you have, at your house, and you're all hanging out and partying. I know that some people do play Rock Band online, across the internet with other people. I've done it once or twice. I think it's kind of not fun. And by contrast, Rock Band Blitz isn't fun for anybody else in the room except for the person who's playing it. It's not enjoyable to watch. It's the same sort of scrolling city background looping all the time. It sort of moves and curves, and sometimes it feels like it's moving a little faster or whatever, but that's it. I mean, it's just dull to look at. And so if you don't know exactly how all of the scoring stuff works, and you're just watching someone tap buttons and jump from track to track, there's nothing appealing there. But if you're playing it, and if you're, using Rock Band World and posting scores against people who play and trash talking, it's amazingly fun. It's just isolating to a single player.
Right.
That's all.
Oh, it sounds really interesting. Sounds like gameplay-wise, it's more interesting than regular Rock Band, which is more just a kind of social lubricant, social activity.
Yeah. I mean, it's the difference between playing one track of notes and playing 5 tracks of notes and having to manage all 5 tracks at once.
I gotta play
You
it.
don't
That sounds really
you don't have to
interesting.
play them all, but just play as much as you can.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. So, wow, that's a strong endorsement. Jim, what do you like? What do you like?
I don't know, this year hasn't totally amazed me, really.
Yeah.
And
it's early still. Like the big stuff's still coming.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Off the top of my head, I'll say Lone Survivor.
That was good.
The indie horror game that we've talked a lot about it before. It's Silent Hill. It's more Silent Hill than Silent Hill is now. Check it out. It's on Steam. It's all over the place. Jasper Byrne made it. Great game.
Yeah.
Never did get the art thing from the deluxe edition I bought.
Oh, well, I should ask him about that. I'm sure he's still working on it. I was asking him because there was a few 3DS publishers and developers for the eShop who had asked me to ask Jasper if he was interested in putting the game on the 3DS, and I got them in touch with each other.
So well in 3D. Oh my god.
It kind of would, wouldn't it? I had to talk him into that at first because he doesn't have a 3DS, so he's like, I don't know, but there's
just the perspective, and I mean, it's just that 2-panel depth. Oh man, that'd be crazy.
I know. It would look cool. I'm not a big 3D nut by any means, but there's certain games it would just fit with, and that's one of them. And he hasn't written me back about that, so I'm hoping no news is good news, that he's like secretly working on getting it on the 3DS, because that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I
like that. I'd like a reason to turn my 3DS on, please.
Portables, they're not getting support like they used to.
And they fucking need them more than ever.
I know.
Yeah.
The game has changed, gentlemen. You can't do what Sony did with the PS1 thing. you can't do it in this market. You child. I want to sit Sony down and go, you lamb. You little lamb.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
Anyway.
know not what you do.
Yeah. We've got to wrap this up. I don't even have time to do the plugging out stuff. I've literally got to run. But check us all out on Destructoid.com. Okay?
Indeed.
That'll
I'll quickly
do.
say, this Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live show, Sup Holmes. Sophie Holden will be on the show. She developed an art game called The Domestic. That's right, I called it an art game. I did that for you, Jim. That make you feel good?
Yeah.
She called it an art.
Going to PAX. If you're going to PAX 12:30 p.m. Unicorn Theater, we have a panel that Jim isn't coming to now, and so he doesn't give a shit about it.
Max and Tara will be there, though. And Dale and maybe Nero and Jordan. And a lot of our big personalities will be there. So that's fun.
They'll be there. I'll have a video I'm filming for it anyway. That's 12:30 Friday, Unicorn Theater at PAX in Seattle, America. Do it. I give enough of a shit at least that I don't want to see my guys go up the shit creek without a paddle. So turn up. They'll give prizes. Do it, idiot. And we'll see you next week.
The problem is that I trust any paddle. Oh, sorry. The problem is that I trust that any paddle that you would produce has holes drilled into it to reduce air resistance, so it'd be completely useless in the shit creek.
Because then he can beat a man's butt better with it.
That was where I was going with that, yeah.
We'll see you next week.